Think about last summer. Try to actually picture it. The specific weeks, what you did in July. The first time you noticed it was getting cold again. For most adults, the whole season collapses into a blur. A few images, maybe a trip, a handful of moments. 3 months reduced to 30 seconds of memory. Now think about a single summer when you were 8 years old. It's not even close. That summer is enormous. You can remember the texture of specific afternoons, a particular smell, the exact feeling of the last day of school. A summer at 8 is longer than a decade at 35. This isn't your imagination. Time really is speeding up. And the reason has nothing to do with getting old or being too busy or any of the things people usually blame. It has to do with how your brain decides what to keep. The first person to take this seriously was a French philosopher named Paul Janet. In 1897, he proposed something now called the proportional theory of time perception. His idea was simple. To a 5-year-old, 1 year is 1/5 of their entire existence. To a 50-year-old, 1 year is 1/50th. The same 12 months, but a fundamentally different fraction of the life it sits inside. Of course it feels shorter. It is shorter, in proportion to everything that came before it. For 100 years, that was the dominant explanation. And it's not wrong. It's just incomplete. Because the proportional theory predicts a smooth, gradual speed up, and that's not what people actually experience. People describe time accelerating in a way that feels uneven, almost jagged. A year in your 20s feels different from a year in your 30s in a way that pure proportion doesn't explain. In the 1990s, a psychologist named William Friedman at Oberlin College started running experiments. He'd ask people of different ages to estimate how long ago certain public events happened. A celebrity death, a famous election, something everyone would remember. And he found something that didn't fit the proportional theory. Older adults didn't just feel time as shorter. They consistently estimated past events as more recent than they actually were. An event from 10 years ago felt like 6. 6 years ago felt like 3. The compression was happening, but it wasn't proportional. Something else was going on. Friedman's hypothesis was that we don't actually perceive duration directly. We infer it. We look at how many distinct memories we can pull from a stretch of time, and we use that as a proxy for how long the stretch was. A summer with 20 separate vivid memories feels long. A summer with 3 feels short. The brain isn't measuring time. It's counting events and using that count as a stand-in for how much time passed. Which brings us to the part that matters. Your brain doesn't encode every moment with equal weight. It's far more interested in novelty. When something new happens, a place you've never been, a face you've never seen, a problem you've never solved, your hippocampus and your prefrontal cortex light up, and the moment gets tagged for long-term storage. When something familiar happens, your normal commute, your normal lunch, your normal evening, those circuits stay quiet. The moment passes through you almost without leaving a trace. This made evolutionary sense. For 300,000 years, your ancestors lived in environments where the familiar was safe and the novel was urgent. A new sound in the forest needed to be remembered. The same path home, walked 1,000 times, did not. The brain filtered for what mattered, and what mattered was what was different. But there's a side effect to this design that nobody thinks about until it happens to them. When you're young, almost everything is new. Your first day of school, your first friend, the first time you stayed up past midnight, the first time you saw the ocean, the first time someone broke your heart, the first job, the first apartment. Childhood and early adulthood are a near constant stream of novelty, which means a near constant stream of memory-tagged moments. A summer at 8 contains hundreds of these. A summer at 35 might contain 3. In 2005, a researcher at Eindhoven University of Technology named Steve Janssen went looking for a sharper version of this effect. He surveyed thousands of people and asked them to identify the most vivid memories of their lives. He found something striking. Across cultures, across genders, across countries, people's most vivid autobiographical memories cluster heavily between the ages of about 10 and 25. Psychologists call it the reminiscence bump. The years when you become yourself are also the years your brain over-records. After that period, encoding slows. Not because your brain is failing, because life starts repeating. You wake up in the same bed. You drink coffee from the same mug. You drive the same route to the same office. You see the same faces. You think the same thoughts. Each of these things, the first time, was a vivid event your brain wanted to keep. The 1,000th time, it's barely registered. By the time you're 40, most of your daily experience has become so familiar that your brain has effectively stopped recording it. And when you look back, there's nothing there. Not because nothing happened. Plenty happened. You lived through every one of those days, but your brain only kept the deltas. The moments where something deviated from the pattern. A vacation, a funeral, a move. The day your child was born. Everything between those points has been compressed into a kind of background hum that takes up almost no memory space at all. This is why your 20s feel like a decade and your 30s feel like a Tuesday. The pattern accelerates with age because the pattern of life calcifies with age. Your routines harden. Your social circle stabilizes. Your tastes settle. Your environments become repetitive. By 50, an enormous percentage of your daily experience is something your brain has seen before, and something your brain has seen before doesn't get tagged for storage. The years go by, and they leave less and less behind. The cruel part of this is that it's self-reinforcing. The less novelty you encounter, the faster time feels. The faster time feels, the less you feel like there's space for new experiences. So you double down on the familiar. So time speeds up further. The compression accelerates not because of biology, but because of what biology does to people who stop having first times. There is a way to slow it down. Researchers who study this, Friedman, Janssen, and others who followed, agree on a single intervention. You have to manufacture novelty, not big things. Not a sabbatical or a move across the country. Small things. A different route home. A meal you've never cooked. A book in a genre you don't read. A conversation with someone you wouldn't normally talk to. Each one of these creates a moment your brain is forced to encode, and each encoded moment becomes a small marker in time. Enough markers, and a year stops collapsing into a blur. It starts having texture again. People who travel often, who change jobs, who keep meeting new people, who keep learning new skills. They consistently report that their lives feel longer, even when they're objectively the same length as everyone else's. They're not slowing time. They're giving their brains more reasons to remember it. Most adults don't do this. They get to a certain age, the routine sets, and the encoding stops. They wake up at 50 and can barely account for the previous decade. Their lives didn't go anywhere. Their brain just didn't take notes. For 300,000 years, this system worked. Novelty was urgent because novelty was rare, and the brain remembered what mattered. But we built lives where almost nothing is genuinely new anymore, where the same morning repeats inside the same apartment for years on end. And we kept the same brain. The brain that was supposed to flag the unusual moments now has nothing unusual to flag. So time speeds up. Not because you're getting older, because the part of you that decides what was worth remembering has run out of things to remember. And the years go quietly past, and you can't account for any of them, and you wonder where they went. And the truth is, they never went anywhere. They were here. You were here. Your brain just didn't write them down.